Wow, this is the first podcast of the week. I
Mm.
just need to apologize to anyone where's thinking, where's Raw, where's everything else. Unfortunately, I have got Corona. I still have tested positive as of time of recording. I've got the coronavirus. My co-host today, NWA, obviously the lovely Fiona Lochran, has also been in the wars with near enough the same thing without the positive result.
Yeah, I've been in my bed pretty much for the last 5 days, so
Today, I've drunk.
feeling like death.
You see, I was like that for 2 days. I drank some orange juice, I drank some pomegranate juice and some cranberry juice, and I've got enough energy to sit through. I sat through NWA today, and I've got enough energy to sit through this. But also, we
You're
have.
a champ.
What can I say? I am a champ, and we've also going to do an announcement at the end of the show about a new series that we're starting up regarding the NWA as well. But let's get on with this week's Powerr, which was Everyone Believes in Magic, which was the tagline for the show. This I've put on my notes here. The opening package was around Magic Jake and Max the Impaler, which was the main event.
Mhm.
Best video package they've ever done. That was my notes.
You think? It
I
was
love.
good. Don't get me wrong, it was good. Yeah, I don't know if it was the best. I have to think about that, but I did think it was good.
I loved it. I thought it was so well put together. I mean, they
I
do it.
like I like the fact that Jake brought real life into it
Yeah.
and his background in the military into it as well, which I thought was quite
Was it
cool.
weird that
So
he looked more like the Jake that we interviewed than the Magic Jake that we sometimes see on Powerr? It was
yeah.
quite weird. I was like, I know that guy, you know, from the interview. But yeah, I loved the opening package on that. And I really loved actually the first match. It was Latimer in a non-title against Jake Sterling. Now, Latimer's going against Zion, so this was a tune-up. Now, Jake Sterling was a member of the Dungeon, so we've had a couple of weeks now
Mhm.
where we've had Dungeon trained wrestlers on the show. Billy Corgan's back on commentary, by the way, with you, obviously the usual.
All episodes as well, which was interesting.
Yeah, all episodes and some other bits which we'll get into. I loved this match. They mentioned that Jake was at Tom's wedding as well. So Tom's
So they're obviously friends, but this is the first time they've kind of gone up against each other.
it was, but
Off the bat, they similar height, similar size. It looked like a really even matchup. And I'm not gonna lie, Jake impressed me.
yeah, he did. He really did with me. I thought it was great. I honestly could see this going either way, but I think at this because Latimer won by submission. And I kind of think because of the background and where Jake had been training, that Latimer decided to do that for that specific reason.
A little bit of a show off, a little bit of a
Mm.
look what I'm capable of beating sort of thing.
Yeah,
His little showboat, and I must admit, I pops after he'd done. I can't even remember what move it was, but his little playful head tap on Jake as he's lying face first on the ring. I was like, well played, Thomas, well played.
he did. He was called the force-fed trauma is the finish that he won with. But very much, I still think he very much done that as a nod to the Hart family. And then he had an interview after that about his match coming up with Zion.
He did. He's very obviously very much I've got the belt, you're not getting it. You've not got the skills to beat me, sort of thing. And I would like to hope that that's true. I really am backing Tom. I want to see Tom get a shot at that £10 eventually, and
Eventually.
maybe sooner rather than later. So if this match with Zion's one of his lucky seven, then I'm all for Tom winning this. I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't.
Zion's undefeated though, right?
He is, yeah.
Interesting, interesting. And that'll be at the Crockett Cup whenever we get to it. Not quite sure when we'll get to it yet, but we'll get to it at some point for sure. And then afterwards, the kids and the Savages. I mean, the Savages were huge guys. I mean, they were.
They are big lads, but what I want to say even about obviously Kyle started out with the kids who are up against the Mortals in next week, round one of the cup.
Not next week.
Um,
No, it's the Savages
oh,
next week.
Savage, so it must be the week after.
Yeah.
No, we've got the Immortals and the kids and the Country Gentlemen versus
We do. My bad. It was underneath. It was
yeah.
underneath the Country Gentlemen.
So
Yes.
Country Gentlemen versus and the Samoans Country Gentlemen versus the Samoans and the Immortals versus the Kids. So both of these guys are up next week in the first round. What I kind of said, both of them proper fired up. Really, really nice to see two teams just really, really powered up, really riled up, and really, really want to go for it. I'm quite excited to see what the guys will do. The kids, I'm kind of like, do you know what? I think I like you. We've seen them a couple of times
Yep.
already as well. So I'm quite keen to see what else they can do. And the Savages of Samoa, they just look like badasses. And I don't think I would want to mess with them. So,
No, I feel
but
so.
they're up against the Country Gentlemen, and we all know AJ and Casey and what they're capable of. So,
Exactly. We just wouldn't want to be, you wouldn't want to see him down a dark alley, really, or piss him off,
no.
would you? Really, to be quite frank. The next one is we got into the Crockett Cup actually. Daisy Kill and Talos with Vampiro. He's getting about it, isn't he? He's a bit like
Yes.
Peggy Price and men. He's getting around a bit. He was there. And Stu Crew, tag team,
Yeah. So
maybe. The
rank 5
JCP.
against rank 12.
Yeah, and the JCP champions, tag champions.
Tag team champions. Yep. Absolutely.
Really like this match, actually. I'm
I thought
with you
this was a good match. I think my indifference towards
though.
Daisy Kill and Talos is maybe changing slightly.
Is it?
Saw a little bit more person for me. I saw a little bit more personality with Daisy in particular in this match, with his
Mm.
little kind of turns to the camera and stuff like that. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm warming. So I still don't quite get how they wound up together, or for me, the chemistry just doesn't seem to be there for me to grab. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you guys some more time here. So
You
that's
know,
a good thing.
the interesting thing was that I'm now not sold on Daisy. I'm more of a fan of Talos.
Fair enough.
After it, I do agree though. His little motions to the camera were great during that match.
Just made it a little bit, I don't know, just made me go, okay, I'm interested now. So I
Yeah,
like that. I like that.
but
But I thought the Stew Crew held their own here. I thought
yeah,
the Stew Crew looked great.
they did.
Two big lads as well. Obviously not quite Talos big, but
No,
two big lads.
there ain't many
And
people.
then obviously I did have a wee pop with Vampiro just kind of flirting with the camera, not really saying anything, but his little salty looks down the camera lens. I thought, oh, you're working it. You are working it, dog.
He was. He actually got involved. He put the leg on the ropes at one point.
Did. Yeah, because it looked really, really like Daisy was maybe going to end up taking a pin, and
Yeah, we nearly had a bracket
it would have
buster.
been a wee Stuku victory if that was the case. But yeah, and Vampiro gets involved, and obviously then Talos comes in and gets involved with Big Boot, and huge choke slam. I would not fancy being on the end of that, because that is
No.
a long way off the ground. If you think about how tall he is and how big his arms are, that is a long way to be choke slammed down to the mat. So,
And as you said, the Stuka ain't exactly small either. So that from a
that
height,
was impressive.
it was very impressive indeed. So the chokeslam picks up the win, and then as you rightfully say, they do go with Carl and trying to get a word out of Vampiro, who amazingly was silent this week.
Yeah,
Didn't
just
say anything.
riling the crowd up to keep cheering for him. But he had a little smirk on his face, and I was like, okay, he's on to something. Something's going on here. And it's quite clear from Daisy that there's a little alliance going on here.
There is. It's just what and how long.
Yeah.
But Vampiro, when he talks when he talks again, hopefully we'll get a bit more of an understanding as to where it's aligned to.
Yeah. And this win for Daisy Kill and Talos means they are going to face the winners of the Immortals versus the Kids. So whoever wins that match are up against Daisy Kill and Talos in the next round.
The Immortals, Christ, against Daisy and Talos. Holy hell.
That'll be a good one if that's the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak.
It'll be an incredible match. Now, we did get, so here's my gripe this week, and I've spoke about it just before I love the action this week on NWA. I didn't really, and usually when they do the interviews, they're actually pretty good and they can be fun. We just mentioned there was a bit of fun there with Vampiro. I felt in general, the parts other than the action was weak this week. I don't know if you have that same feeling.
The next section we're coming to, I was kind of like, it was a little bit long and a little bit, really, what's the point? So
Yeah, I was a bit that way. I
There
mean,
was a couple of bits where I was very much like, really? Do we have to do this? Let me have some more wrestling instead, please.
yeah, we had quite a bit of a promo segment. It was Alonso, and there was Tiffany Nieves, there was Rekka there, Billy was there
Billy was there too, yeah.
as well, and they announced that Alonso would be taking on Alex Taylor. Alonso was
Which we already knew anyway, but basically the premise was Joe didn't want to have a match. He was
oh,
giving it all this, saying, "Oh, I'm your best
valuable
asset,
asset,
and
yeah.
let's have a Joe celebration." And obviously, that's where William, which made me pop. To be fair, the fact that he was calling him William the whole time,
Yeah.
kind of got stuck in. I just find Billy a little bit awkward on the mic on screen.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. I just found that the segment was quite weak in general, and unusually
Yeah.
quite for me. I mean, it's just this week, for example, no problems with the other weeks. And then they come to another match that they've made for the Crockett Cup, which was a rematch from the rematch from the other week.
So this is the third
Third,
time
third time, which is Tiffany Nieves and obviously Rekka,
Reka Tahaka
yeah,
versus
versus
Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra for the
yeah,
number one contender spot to go up against on the same night the King Bees for their tag team championship.
yes, that is.
And I just feel like, why are we having this match again?
Hmm, yeah, it does feel
A
a bit.
little bit. I kind of feel like the women's tag division's now just those three teams
Yeah,
almost. Obviously you've still got Alex, you've still got Kylie, you've still got Ella, although that might be imploding as well. You
we'll
just
get to
never know.
that.
But I just feel like it's been constant with these teams, and
Yeah,
there's not really been much excitement in it. And I'm sorry, girls, it's not that I don't rate you as wrestlers, but it's very samey, and I'm getting bored of it, to be quite honest with you.
yeah, I think they need to freshen up a division a little bit there for sure. I mean, I'm not keen. I mean, don't get me wrong, the match will be good. The last two were good, but
Yeah, they have been good. It's not that they're rubbish and they can't wrestle. They can perform and put on great matches, but I want to see something else as a
yeah,
fan. I'm fed up watching the same four in the ring. So
exactly. Different people, different teams, please. Probably the most awkward segment of the night now. And I did wonder because when I downloaded the episode this week, I from my VPN, it gives you a poster of basically, and the
mhm.
poster was the chef, and like there was,
You're like, I know that face.
and I was like, well, that's our good friend Carsten Drake, and I was like, what's going on here? You had Carsten Drake, Sam Starr, you had another girl, forgive me, I can't remember her name. You had Austin Idol and you had Zion, and that was the back of the episode I downloaded, and I was like, well, what's this?
That was the still on mine for
Yeah,
the episode.
that
So
was the
yeah.
still mine. So it then turns into cooking with Carson.
Which
Maria,
in theory would potentially be funny
yeah, and he's laughing through it a lot of the time, which is okay,
with his little cheesy Carson smile that he's got.
which is fine. But we are in the year of 2024. The first thing that he said was, well, I think I think it was Sam Starr may have spoken. He said, well, this is the woman belongs in the kitchen, which,
So misogynistic.
yeah, I mean, and then there was a lot of, sexual references in there there was I can't remember if it was there was,
The loaf of bread or whatever, and
there was a
all this
couple of them.
stuff. Couldn't even call the girls by their name, called them their each little spices or whatever, or
Yeah,
something like that. And just, I
I,
think in another decade previous to this, that might have worked. I'm almost disappointed that NW have gone down this route.
mm,
I think they could have done something funny with it without being insulting, because I was kind of insulted by it.
yeah,
I have got a funny feeling I know who's behind it. I know whose sense of humor it probably will be. And just went, oh, this will be fun. Let's do it. I don't think the NWA need to do that. Like I said before, the NW haven't, well, over here, I can't speak for the States, but over in the UK, they haven't exactly got a huge following. They've always been or particularly latterly, been seen as a little bit of a joke to wrestling fans. I think doing that's not doing them any favors.
No, I didn't.
They're all about history. They're all about legacy. I Yeah, wrestling's got characters in it. There's always characters in wrestling. There's always storylines. There's always larger than life characters. But I really don't think there's a need for that. I don't think there's a maybe there is a place for it, but just not in the type of wrestling I want to see.
Yeah, definitely. So I just feel like, they've got the best women's roster, probably one of
They
the
just kind of
strongest.
shat all over it, basically, with that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
with that whole thing, it could have been fine if you had Zion and you had Idol and you had Carsten, and they would even the sexual references part, and they were just doing that. Fine, it would have been cheesy, corny as hell, but you get away with it. It's when you start, as you say, the misogynistic stuff in this day and age, it just doesn't sit well. I mean,
But even for the girls to agree to go
yeah,
along with it, I'm a bit kind of like, really?
yeah, I didn't like that. I mean,
Like, I've been at shows and people planning intergender tag
yeah,
matches, for example, and we'll do the spot where somebody's in the corner and then they get a crotch shot from the head or whatever. And I've listened to arguments in the back saying, I'm a woman, I'm not doing that. Like, and I totally get it. Like, I think I would have stood up and said, no, that's not for me. But who am I to judge? I'm not the girls that were there. I wasn't told by my boss, this is what I need you to do. You just don't know. But yeah, it didn't work for me. Sorry.
not for me either, guys, unfortunately. But it did come
And I
back.
don't even think that's going to be the last of it either, though. It
It
might be an
sounds
ongoing thing. I'm not sure.
it did sound like it's back next week from the end of the end of that segment. It did seem as if Cooking with Carson was going to be well, at least back for another week. We'll wait and see. But let's get back to the good. A great tag from the Southern Six versus the Slime Balls. Kerry Morton and Silas Mason against the Slime Balls.
Yep,
Really,
round one of the Crockett Cup. So that's the Southern Six who are seeded third against the Slime Balls who are 14th.
it did, and it did go with form in the sense of the seed. The Southern Six being the third seed, pick up the win. It was a really good tag match. The only thing
I thought it was great.
Hmm,
I really, really enjoyed it actually. I mean, the Southern Six were in control for most of it, but I
yeah,
thought it was really good. I felt sorry for poor Sage going over the top rope the way he did.
I did literally was going to say that it looked pretty nasty that one when
Yeah,
Silas pressed him over. His teammate was on the outside, but he looked like he'd landed sort of. I don't know if his head hit the chair or his head was
I
some.
don't know, but yeah, it was a
It,
belter.
it didn't look. But then we go back to this interview thing, and I'm going to get really annoyed about this one because I felt this line, and I don't know whether it was said. I just felt it was tasteless. Now, those of you that remember, Silas Mason had a house fire and lost everything, pretty much lost everything. And at the end of this match, Alex Taylor joined them for an interview with Kyle, and his words were at the end, "They're going to light Dallas up like a house on fire." To which you even see Silas Mason give him a look before they finished off with their thing. I didn't like.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from that, and it did kind of make me go, I it's one of these ones, maybe Silas they talked about it before and Silas approved it. I don't know. My initial reaction was, oof, that's harsh, considering we know what Silas has been through.
Yeah,
Um, I'll kind of reserve judgment on that one. What I will say is it was nice to see Alex serious and
yeah,
not the sort of dumbed, I don't want to say, not the more kind of joke one of the three of
yeah,
them, because quite often when the three of them are together, he's kind of portrayed as the slightly less intelligent one of the three of them.
yes.
Excuse me. And it was nice to see him be quite serious about Joe Alonso and be quite kind of like, I'm coming for you, I'm coming for this belt.
Yeah,
So that side of things, I actually quite enjoyed that promo from him. But I do get where you're coming from. I can't imagine he would say something like that without clearing it first, but you just
yeah.
never know. And I do know why because Silas did kind of look at him and was like,
It was like, you what? And I was kind of, as usual, I was really taken aback by it. And when he said it, my first instance was I was looking straight at Silas because I wanted to see
see
his.
the reaction.
And
Yeah.
when he looked at him, I was like, okay, either it's one of those things maybe where maybe he's not even been given the line. He's just because that's the general line that he would say, or something along those lines. Or maybe, as you say, they've agreed it. But you are right. It was good to see the serious side of Alex Taylor
Yeah.
rather than the jokey side, and that bit was good. The line, as long as it was cleared, I mean, it was just
And it was nice to see them end with the when you're hot,
yes,
because it's been a little while since we've seen that. So that was kind of cool. I quite enjoyed that.
yeah,
It's
that was
good to
good.
see it back.
Yeah, it was good to see that back for sure. Um, we had an update after this. So Jack's
We
day,
did. I
um,
thought Jax was looking great. He looked quite lean there.
looking
I
like
thought he looked fabulous. And
$1 million.
he's a big guy, but I thought he was looking great there.
He was, but he provided us with an update on Tim Storm. Now, those of you that remember, Tim Storm snapped last week, wasn't it?
Just a little bit.
And he held this lock on. He took a fall to the outside, and then he just went crazy, and he hit this lock on,
And the claw on Markova just would not release.
and they got DQ'd from the Crockett Cup, and looks that Kill got through. So he was then at the doctor's, and basically he's got a condition, like he doesn't know who he is, and you can't startle him, and you can't call him Tim Storm. You now have to call him Baron von Storm.
Because he only really knows who he is when he gets in a wrestling ring or gets in the building. So yeah, and according to Jax, he's been told to play along with it. It could
Yeah.
be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years. Who knows? But Jax has made it very, very clear that the two of them will be continuing to wrestle together. They will be continuing to tag together. How this looks moving forward is anybody's guess. I'm sure if you were at the Crockett Cup, you may or may not have seen. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. Obviously, we're glad here at Hitting the Turnbuckle that Tim's okay and he's well and that he's been cleared to wrestle. That's
Yes.
really important and that's really, really
Yes.
good news. So delighted to hear that.
Yes, definitely.
Intrigued to see what Baron von Storm's all about.
Hmm.
Time will tell, I'm sure.
It
But no
will.
one's allowed to call him Tim Storm anymore.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. You are right. We're glad that he's, as healthy as can be, and he's been cleared to wrestle, which is great. We had him on a couple of weeks ago prior to the injury, and he was a great, knowledgeable as hell and a great, great interview. But doesn't look as though now we could even call him Tim Storm. I might have to change the video to Baron von Storm.
Yeah, you could maybe.
I don't fancy getting on the wrong
I
side of it.
think we're lucky we got him on when we did then,
Definitely.
because obviously we don't know anything about Baron and it would be very, very hard to interview someone who we couldn't call by their names.
Yes, and especially when whatever name that he put on the naming bit, I may have had to change that or something if we had Baron on. Nevertheless, let's get to the main event. This was a 6:05 limit. It was Magic Jake Dumas. It was Max the Impaler. It was for the men's side, right, of the TV title
It
because
was indeed, and Billy just made that quite clear. Obviously, Max holds both the male and female TV championship belts,
Mhm.
and they will be defended by Max dependent on the gender of Max's opponent. So, if it's a female that challenges Max, it'll be the female TV title up for grabs, and obviously, if it's a male, it'll be the male title up for grabs. So this week it was Magic Jake, like you said, the 6:05 time limit,
Mhm.
and the men's world TV title was up on the line.
And it was again, there was quite a lot of early dominance from Max in this. There was a
Well, from Jake, I would have said at the
Oh,
very,
sorry. Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I did cross that out. Yes, there was, sorry, early dominance from
Yeah, so
at the
from
start.
Jake at the start, Jake would have got that pin early
Yes,
on Max if it wasn't for the fact that James Mitchell was distracting the referee.
literally about to say James
As
Mitchell
James.
did get involved on a number of occasions, especially near the end as well. The moonsault was hit. Mitchell did get involved again. And as Jake Dumas turned around, he ate, being the appropriate word, a lariat from Max and picked up the victory. Max, the non-binary nightmare, retains the men's TV title. And now, from what I heard, and again, I heard it on the commentary, that there's 2 lucky 7 opportunities now for Max.
One for each belt, yeah.
So we could be seeing at some point down the line Max versus Kenzie, or we could be seeing Max versus EC3, assuming they're both champions at the time, which is an interesting concept to think. Could do it in a
It is indeed, yeah.
That could be an incredible matches to have. Matches next week on there. We have already mentioned them. We've got the Immortals be the kids. We've got the Country Gentlemen versus the Savages of Samoa. And then we've got the women's #1 contenders match. It's a triple threat match, and the winner goes, I suppose, goes on to the Crockett Cup to take on Enzy Page. We knew that Ella was in it, and we knew that Taylor Rising was in it. What we didn't know was that Kylie Page is now also in this match. Are you getting flashbacks to when we had that conversation?
That whole conversation so long ago.
About
So
a year
long
ago,
ago.
when we sat here and said, we would love to see a triple threat match with Pretty Empowered for the title.
Yep.
And we could. I mean, it'd have to be a weird way of getting there, maybe a double submission or some double pin on Taylor. But we could end up with it happening.
Yep.
Incredible.
Interesting. I'm not quite sure where Kylie came into the agenda on this one. There's not really been any story behind that. I think that will be a good triple threat next week.
It will be. We'll be interested if Kenzie's there.
I'd be very surprised if Kenzie isn't sitting at least on comms, keeping a close eye on things. It would be remiss of her not to be there, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think she should be. Well, she could be facing one of Pretty Empowered, which would be great match. I mean, someone that knows Kenzie.
Keep it in the family.
Keeping it in the family rather than and has she not beaten Taylor Rising already in one of her runs?
I think she has, yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to do I don't want to get into a bit where we're doing another Markova and the same person's challenging every time. So I would like it, and for the intrigue, if one or both of these 2 women found a way of doing it. But we will wait and see next week.
We will indeed.
Interesting episodes of Powerr next week. Now, it brings me on to an announcement. We did put this out here earlier on social media that we're setting up another series. Now, off the back of our NWA Spotlight series, which we will still be doing, and any NWA wrestlers are welcome on the show. We're going to be doing Talking to the Territories, where we'll be speaking to wrestlers that are currently a part of the territories that are in NWA. So we've got Exodus Pro, we've got JCP, there's also Crossfire. I think is there 3?
And Fight the World as well.
Fight the World. Thank you for the 4th one. So any wrestler from any of those promotions that fancies coming on, I've got a few names, but I can't mention yet because we're not quite there in terms of, confirming dates and times. But any one of those wrestlers that likes to come on and talk all about the territories and introduce you to us, if that makes sense. That's he's right, isn't it?
Because a lot of them will be new faces to loads of us, so it'll be quite good to learn a little bit more about the territories themselves, the promotions themselves, what's going on in the promotions, about the championships, matches, shows that are coming up, and obviously about the individuals themselves, which would be kind of cool.
Yes, it certainly would be. I'll be very much looking forward to it. That series, and when we can announce names, we will. Like I said, we've got some that are pretty much already there, just waiting dates and times. You're going to be totally relevant now. We're changing the subject quickly, but you are going to be in the presence of a Hall of Famer in a couple of days' time.
I am. I've got a crazy couple of days coming up. Before that, I am in Campbelltown on Friday with Premier British Wrestling. We head up to Campbelltown once a year. Campbelltown is on the beautiful Cowal Peninsula on the west coast of Scotland. If you look at it on a map, it's about that far apart.
Yeah.
But you have to go all the way up here and come all the way back down. So it's like a 4-hour drive.
I remember you saying this last year.
Yeah, so it's like a huge, huge drive, but they're like that far apart, but it's like a 4-hour drive. So I have a car full with the boys. I think it's going to be me and Krieger and Dean Ford and Mark Monroe, I think, in the car together, potentially someone else as well. So we're going to do that trip. It's a beautiful drive. I hope the weather is nice. Lots of nice lochs to stop off for ice cream and things on the way up, which will be really good. Campbelltown's a great show. The town always shows up. So we're really, really looking forward to that on Friday. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets still available at ringsideworld.co.uk if you are on the Kill Peninsula and looking for something to do. Saturday, I get to meet Jake. I'll be picking my car up in the morning, and then I'm going to have to go and meet Jake and his wife Cheryl. We're going to go and do a little bit of touristy things, and then we have our first show with Inside the Ropes on Saturday at the Classic Grand. Then on Sunday, we head to Manchester to Gorilla, I believe, in Manchester. And then Monday, we will be in London, and I cannot for the life of me remember the venue for London, so apologies for that.
Oh, that thought. I don't want Kenny.
There are still tickets available at itrtix.com, though, for all 3 dates. I'm not sure about the VIPs, but definitely general admission available for the 3 days. It should be 3 really good days. Jake's already been in Scotland since the weekend. He did a show with Scottish Wrestling Entertainment up in Dundee on Saturday that apparently went down a storm, and he did a kind of one-man show on the Sunday night as well. So he's been in Scotland. He's having some downtime, but the work and the tours will ramp up and kick off on Saturday, so that's exciting.
Brilliant. And so it's Jake the Snake Roberts, for those of you thinking who's Jake.
Sorry,
not Magic
just Jake.
Jake.
Yeah, it's just Jake. Yeah,
Jake.
Oh my goodness. So sorry. Yeah, Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake.
And to save you
He's
getting
not bringing Damien with him. I
Ah,
hope not.
shit.
I don't want to ride in a car with a snake.
And to save you getting in trouble with Kenny about location, it's the Dome in London.
The Dome. I should have known that. We've done enough shows there. I should have known. Sometimes the venue changes, but yeah, there you go. The Dome in London then. So
VIP tickets
that's
are still available as well, for at least London anyway.
Yeah, that's this week, and then next Saturday, a week on Saturday, I am with W3L at their annual Resolution show at Kirkcaldy Ice Arena, which will be fun. I think some of the team from Progress are up at that. That is going to be a hell of a show, including a steel cage match between Mike Musso and Luke Sharp, which will be something else. So looking forward to that one.
Excellent stuff. Busy as ever. I was just saying it beforehand that we've got a few guests coming on. One of them, most notably, once I can say that I'm definitely getting this person on. It's not that. It's not a when, it's an if. No, not an if, it's a when. And it's just diaries. And that is the Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace, who just come on to NXT yesterday. She will be coming on, and I'll be bringing along with me my bodybuilder that I sponsor will be coming on, Artemis, who is she's a strong woman and a wrestler. So I'll be backed up so Jordan Grace doesn't kick my ass too much with her. So Artemis will be joining me on that one as well. Obviously, big shout out to Progress Wrestling at the weekend. We managed to make one night of Super Strong Style 16.
Oh, did you not make all of it? Oh, that's a shame.
So
I'm just kidding.
I tested positive, obviously Tuesday. I was probably positive Monday.
Okay.
But I didn't get out of bed.
Oh, that's a shame. It looked like a good weekend. Super Strong Style is always a good weekend.
It was great to see Shelton Benjamin. It was great to see Mike Santana. I missed the ladies kill it in the ladder match that I'm really peed off with that I didn't get a chance to see it. But congratulations to Luke Jacobs, who did win Super Strong Styles.
Nice.
And he will be going against Kid Lycos at Devil on My Shoulder in July. But before he does Devil on his shoulder, Luke Jacobs will be stopping off to see me at Ignite. He's got the honor, I say an honor, I don't know if it's an honor, of potentially making Corey McRae leave Ignite on the 14th.
Ooh,
if
okay.
he beats Corey will leave Ignite. He will be leaving Ignite if he doesn't beat Luke Jacobs. Another one that really stole the show at the weekend was Man Like Dries. He's
Always.
Two amazing entrances. He done the one that he normally does, the 012 one, and then he done Dries is on fire. He done his hair gold because he was taking on Shelton Benjamin.
Okay.
And he's going
That
to be
makes
in the
sense.
event. He's going to be in the main event at Buckle Up. He will in July when he comes and sees me over in Boreham Wood. He'll be in the main event for the championship against someone who won. I'm sure he won the Rufus Hound Underdog Battle Royal, which is the damn dirty dog himself, Gene Money, as well as Adonis Payne, the champion, and as well as the absolute maverick Tommy Kyle will be fatal four-way main event. But before that, Gene Money will be making an appearance on the podcast as well. I'll be listening.
Always entertaining when Jean's around.
Never
Never a dull moment. Never, ever a dull moment.
I don't know whether to bring some dog chews to the show or not. But anyway, there's the tickets are still available. Go to Eventbrite. They've literally opened the last row of tickets now. It's not that it's not just them available. There is still others. There is 51 available at time of recording. If all those, so when all those sell out, it will be the biggest selling. It will eclipse last year's Buckle Up, which did sell out on the amount of seats that the venue gave us. This year, we can eclipse it because the venue have given us additional seating, which would eclipse last year's Buckle Up. So please come and break that record. The fee, it's been wonderful, as always, talking some NWA with you. Try and rest a little bit before, you've got your big one.
I don't quite know how, because I'm working tomorrow. I've got a gig tomorrow night as well, so it's non-stop.
Non-stop in the world of fee. I will try and test negative as soon as I can for COVID. And we'll be back next week to do this all again with some great matches. Don't forget you can watch NWA Powerr in America on the CW app, and in the UK, get yourself a VPN and download it.
And anywhere else in the world, get a VPN.
Worldwide.
And get it watched.
And get it watched. But Fee, we'll see you next week. We'll see you guys.
Shall.
And until next week, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.